And that gets us going live. All right. Let us begin in 3, 2, 1.
Hello? Are you ready? Yes. Then we'll begin.
After an unscheduled week off, we're back, and it's the second Sunday of Lent, and boy, do we have a lot of catching up to do. So sit tight, hold on to your hats, and here we go with Monday Morning Catholic, episode number 107.
To set us free. Mercy, O God, have mercy on us.
Yes, and I ask for a lot of mercy after not being here last week. Sorry about that, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Monday Morning Catholic Podcast. I am your host and moderator, Joanne Mercier, getting over a bout of the flu. Thank you, Jesus. It is mostly gone. I don't have to worry about it, except going to communion. I was very careful with communion and sign of peace this weekend, but we're going to be talking about sign of peace also with these lovely, lovely ladies. And Nance hasn't been with us for a few weeks, so we have Nancy Smith, St. Teresa St. Christopher's from Tiverton, Rhode Island. Good morning, Nancy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning, everybody. Good to be back.
How's everything in your neck of the woods?
Going along.
Okay.
Going along.
And is Lent being very, very good to you?
Lent is being Lent to me, yes.
Lent is being Lent, okay.
Nothing unexpected.
But that's scary. Speaking of the unexpected, she's never unexpected. She's always here. Linda Reed from St. Thomas's in Providence, Rhode Island. Good morning, Linda. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine, thank you.
Good. And anything unexpected happening over at St. Thomas's for Lent this year?
No. Lent is going reasonably smoothly.
Well, that's good. I feel ever so bad about not celebrating the first Sunday of Lent on the podcast.
Hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah, well...
When you're sick, you're sick.
I know that. And the thing is that it was something that I thought maybe I could ride through, because the week before I had Generations of Faith, and I was trying really hard all week to just stay upright and take care of myself in between sessions and, not put too much more anxiety on. And actually on Friday night, I remember that Friday night saying, gee, I don't feel so bad. Maybe I've gotten over it. And Saturday morning I got up, I was okay, decided to go to the local genealogical society to do some research. And all of a sudden it was like I was in an influenza ward. Not because of everybody else. I'm the one, and I felt bad.
Yes.
Sitting there at one of their computers, hacking, sneezing, and it was like all of a sudden Mount Vesuvius erupted. I got home, I kind of sat there, and Kevin looked at me and said, "That's it."
Yeah.
Bed.
Yes.
So Monday afternoon, I got out of bed. And still took Tuesday as a sick day. Yeah. I tried Tuesday. Now, I work here at home. If you're watching, this is my real office at home. And I just sort of, I sat here and I said, okay, let me see what I can do. I felt like a slug.
Mm-hmm.
Still hacking, still doing all of that kind of stuff. So it wasn't until Wednesday when I actually started working, and it wasn't until I think yesterday or Saturday when I really started feeling more myself.
Yeah.
So
it takes a while.
Oh, yeah.
The older you get, you used to be able to bounce out of these things.
No, you don't bounce we don't bounce anymore.
We don't bounce.
Okay, so what is it? We just wobbling here? The wheels wobble, but they don't bounce anymore? Is that what the whole thing is?
That's what the whole thing is.
Darn. Well, I'll tell you, gang, it was interesting. And like I said, I would not go to the cup this weekend. I wouldn't shake hands with people
Yeah.
because I still don't know how much is kind of left in me,
Yeah.
or if I'm going to pick up something else because I don't need anything else.
Good. No.
I'm done for the season. That would be it for me. But I really should realize, because if I look back at my calendar, every February for maybe the last 15 years, I've gotten sick. Every February.
There you go.
So we can plan vacation around that next year. Is that what?
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to plan vacation, the first week of February might
All
be,
right.
because it just happens that way. I have no idea why. It's a crazy thing. So I'm back. I don't sound like a bass anymore, but I'm still very nasally. So okay, can't hurt the vocal cords if you're nasally.
Uh-huh.
That's a singer thing, if it's all up here, you can't hurt down here.
Yeah.
I'll take it. While I was away, we had Ash Wednesday. We had the first Sunday of Advent.
No, Lent.
Lent, sorry. Good Lord. See, my problem is, let's do that again. I am so not, rewind. I am so not with it yet. We've had the first Sunday of Lent, and now we're into the second Sunday of Lent. And how did everyone's sending rite of elections? How did we do last week? Anybody into that?
No problem whatsoever. We sent our catechumen forth. It's very simple, straightforward rite, and no problems.
Do you have any catechumens this year, Nance?
We do. We sent them out of from the 8 o'clock mass that I wasn't there. Sent them to the cathedral for the rite of election, and all 4 of them are from St. Teresa, and they promptly said, and from St. Christopher we would like to present.
Jeez. Somebody read the right stuff.
Well, they blamed it, and it's very possible. They blamed it on that when, it's a word thing, that when you automatic return type of thing, that it truncated St. Teresa and just left St. Christopher. So and entirely possible. So
Okay.
but those from St. Teresa weren't too happy until they heard the name, and they just stood up anyway, even though that part was wrong. But
shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that. Yeah. We in Boston have 2 rites of election. They'll do one at 1 o'clock for the northern region, and north. I think it's north and west, and then south and east is at 4.
Okay. I wondered how they were going to divide that up. All right.
Yeah, they do. So it's very interesting to see the one group has to be there for one group. So it depends then how you do your rite of sending, what time you have to do your rite of sending, and sometimes doing your rite of sending on a different Sunday.
Yeah.
So, which is unfortunate because it always should be tied in with the first Sunday of Lent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It should never have to be tied into something else. But I know that places, you're gonna see me do this because
That's okay.
I am still dealing with residue. To put it nicely.
Do what you need to.
Do what I need.
That's right.
Thank you. Well, those who are just listening to us have no idea what I'm talking about. But
And we won't
Talking
tell.
about Kleenex.
yeah, we're doing Kleenex here. Okay, we're doing a commercial for Kleenex.
Yes.
Okay. So that's, at least we've got our catechumens on their way.
Yes,
We do.
And this
And I have to say, the first Sunday of Lent involves a lot of liturgical change for St. Thomas, and we've been doing it for so long that they fell right into it. I mean, really, it was the easiest transition into a season. I was amazed.
yeah, because it's interesting when you do transition into a season, you can either transition smoothly or stumble into
Yes, and they went. Of course, I don't change everything all the time.
right,
Either.
right.
Exactly.
I try to keep some continuity
Well,
going, and
That they know when they get this song or whatnot that, something's
yes,
happened, we've changed.
yes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I just got a post on my Facebook from one of my altos who is taking care of her sister's children, and one of the little twin girls, she said, is driving her crazy because she's running around the house all day long singing "Gather Us in Mercy, Lord." Even the children picked it up.
Even the children picked it up.
See? That's when you know. How's your little Hallelujah girl? Is she all unhappy? Is that she?
Yeah, my little Hallelujah darling wasn't there today because her mama's not.
Feeling well. Yeah.
Her mama's having a little bit of a pregnancy problem.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Much of that this week.
So, but she made it through the first Sunday of Lent without pitching a fit. We know what she did. She glommed on to "Lord, Hear Our Prayer."
There you go.
Yeah.
Future choir member, I see it.
There you go.
She kind of hooked into that since we didn't have an Hallelujah. She hooked on to "Lord, Hear Our Prayer." So,
there you go.
but I think it's wonderful that these children are being taught to pay attention.
That's right.
And engage in what's going on.
Good.
Really good.
Good. So when it comes back, she'll be so happy.
Yes, she will. She'll be thrilled.
Well, so that sounds like everybody is settling into Lent nicely,
Yes.
which is a very good thing. I hope all of you are settling into Lent nicely. Hopefully you haven't given up on your Lenten fasting, abstinence, and prayer rituals, because it's just like New Year's resolutions. The minute you do it, it's kind of like 3 days in, it's like, oh crud, I forgot it was a Friday.
Yeah. I've done that before, but not this year.
I've done that.
Good.
I've done that.
Yeah. So keep it up, folks. We'll all get through it together. All right. So, hey, guess what? While we were away, we got feedback on the first Sunday of Lent. So that is very good, keeping me from thinking it's the first Sunday of Advent.
Yeah.
God, blue, purple, it's all the same. Anyway, our good friend John from Yakima.
Yay, John.
Hi, John.
Hello. Sent us a little communication through our email account and said this. Let's see. At the 7 a.m. Mass, our parochial vicar, also known as the associate pastor, yes, these titles just keep getting. Yeah, they're all one and the same, started his homily with, quote, "The devil has been around a long time," unquote.
Oh, okay.
There's one for you. That'll wake you up.
Hello.
He continued with, Adam and Eve were tempted in a garden where they had everything that they needed. Jesus was tempted in the desert. Adam and Eve had everything and still fell. Jesus was in the desert where there is nothing and resisted temptation. The Jews wandered in the desert for 40 years. They got thirsty and hungry. Their thirst and hunger were satisfied with miracles from God. We're thirsty and hungry for many things: justice, peace, love, and so many other things. We come to church because we hunger and thirst and are satisfied. Satan still tempts us. It is a constant battle in our lives. It is tough resisting the devil. He continued by listing many evils that we suffer today, temptations to sin. We desire comfort, temptations aplenty. The devil tempts us by offers to relieve our discomforts. The devil uses the creations of God against us. He attacks when we are weakest. The associate gave the example of a hungry lion in Africa that watches the herd to select the weakest or slowest as the target of his attack. The devil does likewise. He attacked Jesus with temptations when he was weakest, after being in the desert without food or water. He continued on with the ways Jesus was tempted and how those relate to temptations we have in today's world. Well, that sounds like an interesting one.
Good.
It seems to have gone along with some of the ones I had a chance to listen online, well, not so much online, but on TV last week, to the Mass at the Basilica in Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
In Indiana. So they do a lovely Mass.
Yeah, they do.
I must say. And that homily was about the same. My father, Bishop Barron's, was about the same.
It's Temptation City.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a song for that, but
Somewhere.
oh, there's a few.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm thinking of them now, saying, "Why didn't I put those on my?" on my soundboard. Oh well. But John continues with the right of election.
Yeah.
Because being at a cathedral parish, I'm sure he had a chance to be there for the right of election. So he continues with Bishop Tyson keyed in on the second reading line, for there is no distinction between Jew and Greek. Though 75% of our diocese is Spanish speaking. Now, I wouldn't think that in Washington State.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. We are one church. We are not a Democrats church or Republicans church. Ooh, don't go there now. We are not a liberals church or a conservatives church. Ooh, even worse. We are not a city church or a country church. We are not a fruit growers church or a fruit pickers church. We are not a church for only the documented or a church only for the undocumented. We are one church. Wow, this is strong.
Strong.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. I agree. The bishop continued on quoting a priest that I've never heard of. One of his last lines was, baptism is our green card that makes us part of one church. The bishop then repeated the entire homily in Spanish. Good for him. All the songs and responses were in both Spanish and English, a practice for decades. At the rite of election, 207 people were presented to the bishop, about 62 candidates and 145 catechumens.
Wow.
3 parishes had just under 20 catechumens each.
Wow.
Okay.
Humans. Wow.
Okay, that's wild. The cathedral parish has only 9 catechumens and 5 candidates this year.
Wow. But
You know, to us,
I mean, we're lucky to get one.
we are so. It's the saturation point of
Yes.
Catholics and unbaptized in this country. New England is still saturated
Yeah.
with, even if they're Catholics in name only, we're
Yeah.
still saturated. So we're going to get 1, 2 at the most. I think at the most I've ever seen in my line. I think I've only seen 3.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, that's it. The
That's
rep
the most
candidates
bad.
candidates score. You know.
Yes.
Well, we have 4 this year.
That's great.
Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful. But then, did I have something up a couple of weeks ago that no one decided to jump on? Yes, I did, on Facebook, where, it was a couple of weeks ago. It only got a little bit of traction, but, the RCIA were doing it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And one person, it was Beth Ann, who responded and said, my parish does year-round RCIA and brings people into the church several times a year. Unless you need to be baptized, then you have to wait until the Easter Vigil.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's I don't think I'm going to jump on the soapbox right now. All I'm going to say is
Yeah.
people really need to reread the RCIA documents in order to understand. They have turned it into a program rather than a process.
Yes.
And it breaks my heart every time.
And our pastor is very fond of pointing out the fact that it is a process.
Right.
And I think one of the pieces of the whole process that is underutilized, and this is a personal thought here,
Yes.
is after Easter Vigil in the period of mystagogy, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Not addressed hardly at all anymore.
So long, farewell,
Yeah.
green
It
adieu.
comes and they're gone. And it's like, wait a minute, these folks just went through a lot.
Yeah.
There's still stuff to talk about.
Yes. But see, it's the whole thing, and this will get me in trouble. I know this will get me in trouble.
I won't tell.
I'm sorry, but I'm looking for the one that I'm looking for my through my cart here to say. I saw another one that said this is better than the diving in one, but I can't see it right now. So that's fine. Oh well, this one will always work.
And there's no way to stop it. No, you can't.
Yeah, you can't stop me even if you try.
Yeah.
I just feel that we do not associate the catechesis with the ritual. We don't do that. We don't associate catechesis and ritual normally in a parish. Okay, so why should I expect them to associate the catechesis and the ritual of the RCIA? Because the ritual in the RCIA says if you are a catechumen, you are dismissed, and you go straight to your catechesis. So you come to the ritual, you hear the word, and then you are dismissed to go break it open further. And the excuses I have heard for that is people won't do that, the Catholics don't go to Mass, it's not practical for us to do it, it's better if we do it at night, we'll get more people if we do it. No, that's not the point. The point is the catechumen is the one you need to focus on. If you're doing catechesis for RCIA, go to another Mass. You know, and I'm not saying anything I didn't do myself when I was doing it, nor did I have my team do.
Yeah.
You know, when you connect it that way, it makes more sense to them. So that then when they get to the vigil and they can finally stay for everything, it's such a mind-blowing thing.
Yeah.
You know, and then candidates should be treated as candidates. They shouldn't be coming in at the vigil. They should be coming in all through the year.
Yeah, and I don't know any place, and that's just because I'm very provincial and never get around. But I've never heard of any place that doesn't do everybody at the Easter Vigil.
I know.
You know, they all do them at the end. We do too. You know, we're guilty.
But it's because it's become a program, and that's what that article was talking about.
Yeah.
You know, where the article was talking about if, you know, they have to wait until September to start up again.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if somebody came in now and was inquiring, I'd have at least one person, if not a couple of people, be working with that person until they're ready. And if 2 weeks after Easter they want to come and jump into the process, oh yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
That means you have to have catechesis through the summer. Aw, they'll show up. Trust me, they do. You tell them, they show up.
Yeah.
Catechumens do not have a Catholic mentality.
Not yet.
Right.
Well, you can't make a blanket statement about that.
Okay. All right.
I've worked in the RCIA program for years at our place, and some years I wonder why we're baptizing some of these people, because
just like confirmation.
you can't get them to come.
Right.
You know, and any excuse will do that they can't come to this gathering, they can't come to that gathering.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other hand, there are other years where they are so serious and so sincere that it's just a joy to work with them.
I made a blanket statement for myself because I was lucky enough when I was not to have too much of that. I won't say I didn't have any of it.
Yeah.
But if you told them you need to be here for this, and this, and I would always tell them way ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, they get a schedule of when the rites are going to be.
Right.
But you know, there's always
right.
But not. I have to say, in all fairness, not this year.
That's good. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Well, thank you, John, for letting us wax philosophically about the RCIA as well as last week's homily. If any of you want us to wax philosophically on anything that you're doing in your parishes, please send it along.
We'd be happy.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to wax philosophically.
We can wax up a storm. Let me get
wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Okay.
Please send your email to mondaymorningcatholic@gmail.com. You can put it up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/mondaymorningcatholic. You can put it up on the website, mondaymorningcatholic.net, in the comment box, or you can be real brave and use the voice feedback line, 774-955-0659. We would love to get some people's voices on air other than ourselves.
Yes.
So give us an early Easter present, or give it up for Lent. Either one will work. All right, so let's move on to what we all come here for.
Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear for, believe it or not, the second Sunday of Lent? Yikes. Okay, this is still a week where everyone's hearing the same readings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next week
Mhm.
However, we will have what we do our split personality 3 weeks, which is we will talk about whether or not we have a homily for the C cycle or whether we have a homily for catechumens for the A cycle. Next year we'll all be non-schizophrenic because it'll
Yes,
be A
it'll all be A.
It'll all be A all the time.
Yeah.
This year we're schizophrenic, so we're still, luckily, I mean, even though it's Luke's version of the gospel events, we're still all listening to the same thing. So Genesis 15, in one of my favorite places in biblical geography, Ur of the Chaldeans.
Chaldeans, yes.
I love Ur of the Chaldeans as well as Phrygia and Pamphylia.
Yeah.
Those are places where, to me, just absolutely strike a funny bone. Every time I hear those names, it's like, oh, wow.
Yes.
People lived in places like that.
Is that the one that has the heifer?
Yes,
Heifer.
it's the heifer.
Yes, it's the heifer.
We had a heifer at the.
A heifer.
The heifer? Okay. Did you have a brazier?
No, that was
No,
okay.
that was changed to a fire pot.
But we enveloped
That's right. It's
somebody.
been changed to a fire pot.
But we enveloped somebody instead of enveloped.
Yes, we enveloped. We
now,
enveloped somebody
I'm in the
too.
sanctuary.
Oh.
I'm going, and I'm putting my head down. I'm going, don't smile, don't laugh, don't
Yeah, I
smile,
know,
don't laugh.
I know. We enveloped somebody.
Did you envelope somebody too?
Not at 10:30.
No, at the 4.
Okay, you enveloped somebody.
We envelope it on Saturday vigil, not on Sunday morning.
The cloud enveloped this Abraham, and he got the land from the Wadey to the Euphrates.
Oh, that's even worse.
Tough luck, man.
Oh, wow.
Tough.
But that was the only problem all weekend. Everybody else was excellent.
Good.
Well, that's a good thing.
Although I read online somebody got a 3-year-old yam.
3-year-old yam?
A 3-year-old what?
Ew.
Yam, Y-A-M.
Oh, yeah.
They must have been hungry.
In place of a ram.
We apologize to all lectors out
Yes,
there.
you do.
Which I
It
am
happens. It happens.
But
We understand. It just
that
tickles
is-
our funny bone.
a 3-year-old yam.
Yam, yeah.
That's a new one.
They don't last that long, do they?
No, I don't think
Ew. Depends on where you store them.
I guess.
Abram had to look high and low for a 3-year-old yam.
He probably found it lower than higher, but who knows?
Oh, this is getting like really off the rails.
I'm thinking underground.
Yes.
Wow. This is wow.
How do you, and I'm wondering how you find out how old a yam is. You know?
Don't you
On his-
count
on his
basket.
the
His
ring?
rings.
We apologize.
Sorry.
Off the rails. Off the rails.
We have just completely gone off the rails.
We just
that one.
get tickled with these things.
It barely be laughed
And
at. That's all.
I can say it because I have made the same mistakes myself.
Then same here.
I
Yes.
am not a reader, but I have sung line on the first line. I've sung one line of verse 1, and the next one line of verse 2, and
Yep.
I have made mistakes myself, so I
Yep.
can laugh at somebody else's.
Same here. Same
Same
here.
here.
Oh, my goodness. But the 3-year-old yam. That
Yeah, that was a good
That's
one.
fun.
Oh, put that in the book. Remember that. So, we had the whole sacrifice of Abraham.
Yes, the cutting of the covenant.
The cutting of the covenant, exactly. The good thing we didn't have any comments about that.
No.
Yikes. Psalm 27 was the proper psalm for today. The Lord is my light, my salvation. I know during this season, if we're using a common psalm, some people will put the proper psalm in other places. Linda did that.
Which is what I did. Yeah.
Linda did. Because Linda's using 91
Yes.
as the common psalm. Nancy, what are you doing?
91.
91 also. Which is it the same, Jonkus?
We're using Hogan this year.
Yeah.
Hogan's happens to be new to us.
Oh, okay.
And I chose the Jonkus because we already knew it.
There you go.
Well, this is
One
the
less
first
thing
time.
to teach.
Right.
This is the first time I've put a new psalm in for the season because I figured it's been around enough. People might have heard it other places,
Sure.
and it's doing well.
And it's
They
easy to
picked it up
pick
very
up.
nicely. Yes,
Oh, good.
It's easy to pick
it's not
up,
that
yeah.
hard.
Good.
But I did throw in 27 at the preparation of the gifts.
Yes, that was a nice surprise.
Yes. And you know, I mean, I knew it, and but my grandson, of all people, said to me, you know, oh, Grandma, you did get Psalm 27 in, even though we're not doing it for the responsorial psalm. I
Good
said,
for him.
This kid is going to be a liturgist.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
This kid is going to be a liturgist.
And we need more of them. Thank you.
Jeez.
Philippians 3 was our second reading, and that, of course, the great line, our citizenship is in heaven. So we're talking, I mean, these readings do fit well together,
Yeah.
you know, this week. And again, sometimes the second reading is usually out there somewhere, but it happens to fit well with the transfiguration in Luke 9. And this is the, of course, Linda and I want to sing a certain Mount Tabor song.
Oh, I know. I mean, having done Song of Mark so many
Why
years,
wouldn't I? I tasted
3
Song of Mark, too.
times we did Song of Mark.
Yeah.
And every time the Transfiguration reading comes up, it's what goes through my head.
Yep.
Yep. And who says music doesn't stick around?
I don't know.
You know,
That's Marty Hogan.
yes. The power of the melody,
Really.
That's it.
Really.
most definitely.
And I remember one of the first workshops I ever went to learn was David Haas, and he talked about the Transfiguration, and he said, and leave it up to I'm drawing a blank. Mark, who wanted to put the tents up? My mind is went a complete blank.
Peter.
Of course.
He says leave it to Peter, who wants to put hotels in the best spot at this point in time.
Yeah.
Really.
And I always think of that
Yeah.
because it's a special place, special things are happening this
Yeah.
type of thing. But I always think of that.
We'll construct 3 booths.
Yes.
A Super 8, no,
Yeah. A Marriott and
a Marriott.
a Motel 6. Anyway.
So
All right, so Linda is the only one of us who has a homily.
I have a half a homily.
You have a half a homily.
Well, the other half is for the charity drive.
Yeah. See, around here, folks, it is, charity weekend.
Yes.
So whether you are doing the Bishop's Charity Drive for Providence or you've got a missionary coming in for their own cause like Nancy had, it's Charity Week.
Yes.
So, because they figured they take literally fasting, prayer, and almsgiving
Literally, exactly.
in Lent around here. So, but Linda's
He did our pastor.
doing a good job, I'll tell you
Yes,
that.
I thought he did a grand job of weaving things together. And because we do this in-pew solicitation where they have the envelopes there and he walks you through how to fill it out. So anyway, he starts with his homily. Jesus went up to the mountain and was transformed, transfigured before the eyes of Peter, James, and John. He was changed before them, yet this was not a sudden change. This was a change that happened over time. Jesus ascending to the mountain was not something he just did, he says. It was really a culmination of all this work of his life, of all that he worked, it's a little repetitive here, of all that he worked on in his whole life.
Now, just keep reading.
Jesus was about to change, changing his closest followers, changing the religious leaders, changing those who were considered outcast or distant from God. Jesus' message is about change, and therefore our observance of Lent is about change. Now, I'm reading from what his homily written out is. He got carried away at many of the masses and started throwing in little pericopes about
Yes, he did, and I will be honest with that because I do not remember some of this. At the 10:30, it was a little different.
Yes.
But it was good. I enjoyed it.
He started throwing in pericopes about, and when I get to the fasting, I'll tell you. So he said, Lent is about focusing on those areas in our lives that we need to change in order to grow closer to God and closer to one another. During the season of Lent, we are called to fast, to pray, to give alms, the three hallmarks of Lent. And when he talked about fasting, he talked about visiting a parishioner in the hospital. And this parishioner had gone through 8 operations on the same hip. And he said, lunch came. And when lunch came, it was tuna fish. And Father John looked at the menu and he said, you could have had a hamburger. And the guy said, I'm Catholic, it's Friday, it's tuna fish. There are just some things that are ingrained in us that we do for Lent. Fasting we have done beginning on Ash Wednesday, and on each Friday we fast from meat. Hopefully we are trying to find some extra time during the day or try to be more creative in finding ways to pray. And he mentioned our Monday evening devotions, that we have a different prayer form each Monday, and this Monday we are concentrating on the rosary, which means I can stay home.
Well, there you go. There's an upside.
They don't sing. They just pray the rosary. And so today.
Hold on, Linda. Go back one line because you kind of pinged.
I pinged. Oh, and my phone's ringing.
And it's not me.
Stop it.
And it ain't me, folks. So
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bad Linda.
No,
Okay. What he was saying was that we fasting we have begun. On Ash Wednesday we fasted, and on the Fridays of Lent we fast from meat. And finding extra time for prayer, and our Monday night prayer experiences. And today we as a parish and a diocese focus on giving alms, to reach out and help others. The way we can change our society for the better is by taking the gifts that God has given to us and to pool them together to reach more people. This weekend we begin the Catholic Charity Appeal, he said. And this happens to be his 8th Catholic Charity Appeal. And he always harkens back to the fact that he was a college chaplain for 12 years, and that the Catholic Charity Appeal funded his work. And he was so grateful for it, because those young people to which he ministered are now all over the country, and many of them are still involved in their respective parishes. So he said the good that we do goes all over the country, and you would never know this. He always tells us that he is giving to the drive, and he always tells us how much he's giving. Not because he wants us to give that amount,
right.
but because he wants everybody to know that he's not asking us to do what he's not doing himself, which
Right.
is a wonderful mark of a shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes on to talk about that some more. As Jesus is the fulfillment of the law, exemplified by Moses, and the prophets, exemplified by Elijah, so that he could bring about change, so we too can offer what we can to change the world for the better. As we continue this Lenten journey, may we prayerfully consider what we can do for others through our willingness to share our time, our talent, and our treasure.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job.
He did
Absolutely.
add a few other things, and
Yes, he
I'm
had little stories.
I'm stealing his geographical theology line, because
Oh,
great.
Yeah.
You know, that this is a Sunday of geographical theology,
yes.
which it basically is. So, between the places of Abraham and where the transfiguration is,
Yes.
and that our citizenship is not here on earth. So
But in heaven, yes.
Yeah. So I'm stealing that phrase. because if I can't make it up myself, I steal it.
That's what I did.
But you give credit, so it's not.
I give credit where credit is due.
There's footnotes. So
That's right. There are always footnotes.
there's a lot of stealing that goes on, but there's footnotes.
Check the footnotes. Yes, very much so. We need, this whole thing with being. I love the way he kept saying change.
Yeah.
One thing which he didn't say a lot of when I was listening to it. On paper, he's saying change, 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 and I almost want to say, yeah, and then we're looking for your change.
Yeah, yeah.
In the charity drive.
Exactly.
Oh, they're looking more than your change. They
Yeah,
want the
yeah.
bills.
I know.
They want the bills.
They want
the bills.
But I like that.
Yeah.
But it was a good
I
one.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and transfiguration implies change.
See, the thing is that with homilies, there's what's on paper and there's what's delivered.
What's in the delivery? Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, and sometimes what makes it onto the page does not make it into delivery.
Sometimes he changes after having conversations in the sacristy.
Yeah, and that's fine. Where the Spirit leads.
That's right.
The big thing
Absolutely.
is that he puts something down on paper. He
Yes.
outlines it.
Always.
And at least so he knows there's a point A to a point B to a point C.
Yes.
That's what a good homilists do. They have a point A, point B, point C. How they get there sometimes
Yeah.
get sidetracked.
Well, it's,
But
when
those
you
are
get,
good, as you say, spirit motivated. So
A lot of them are spirit motivated. So, the other, since we don't have another homily that works with the Sunday, we did want to take a moment to really say kudos to Father Paul Scalia for
Oh,
the
yeah.
beautiful homily
absolutely.
gave at Justice Scalia's funeral yesterday. Happens to be his father. Now, priests, burying their parents is always what got me with the commentators were, they were saying this must be awfully difficult for him. And I'm sitting there going, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, duh.
Stating the obvious.
Why don't you state the obvious?
Yes, Captain Obvious. Why don't you state that fact one more?
Yeah.
But what they don't understand is, and I explained that to my aunt yesterday because I happened to be talking to her.
Mm.
She mentioned the funeral and said, "Do you think that was difficult?" And I said, "Well, I know that was difficult.
Yeah.
I watched my friends do it."
Of course it was.
But the grace of the Spirit and a lovely thing called autopilot sometimes can, it's the same thing for musicians. How do musicians get up there
Yeah.
and do the funerals of babies? That's
Or their parents.
thing, or their parent. Well, that was one thing I would always. You, Linda, are a wonderful person and could do that sort of a thing. Okay,
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
because I am the type that no, at that point, I would prefer to be ministered to by my friends.
And that's all wonderful too.
Because for one, I will take my place in the pew, which is where I'm supposed to be, and for me, and I let all of you do that twice.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we were happy to do it.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
I had no, and God bless you that you can. It's not that I felt I could fall apart. I just felt I needed to sit down.
Well,
That's,
I give you credit because you read at your father's funeral.
yeah.
yeah. I didn't
Kevin read at your father's
read at
funeral.
my father's.
And I couldn't read. I was supposed to read at my mother-in-law's funeral, but I couldn't. When the time came, I couldn't.
Mm.
And I was astounded because I was there to support you in the music for your dad and your mom. But I remember you reading, and I'm going, how does she do that? How does she? And it's a gift, as you say. Perhaps it's autopilot at that point.
You do what you know.
Yeah.
Yes,
You're
You
right.
know,
Okay.
And that's
You do what you know.
do what you know.
And that's why I was able to do it.
And that's why these gentlemen can do it. And I thought that homily was, I think, one of the better, or if not the best funeral homily I've heard.
First of all, his opening was astounding.
Yeah,
The opening was astounding because everybody thought he was talking about
talking about his father.
And then he hit him.
Eyes.
He hit him with Jesus of Nazareth, and it was like, Oh. Oh, this is what it's about. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think that's sometimes where some funeral liturgies,
Yeah.
if they fail, they never fail. Let me rephrase that. They never fail. Where they can sometimes fall short
Mm-hmm.
in why exactly are we here?
Yeah.
It is certainly for the person of honor, but the true person of honor is Jesus Christ.
That's right.
And that was surprising to me as well. He caught me on that.
I
went,
thought that was astounding, really.
Because I found myself going, I didn't realize Justice had that much issue in his life. The ignorance on my part.
Mm-hmm.
And, then he said that, I'm going, I should have seen that.
Yeah. No, I mean, and it was perfect. It was perfect because that is why you were in that cathedral.
Exactly.
Because of Jesus of Nazareth.
Exactly.
I think somebody, we were talking before we started this, and I'm pulling, somebody finally put transcript of the homily
Oh, good.
on, believe it or not. And I am gonna grab this because I think it is one of the better ones. And that whole first paragraph is, we are gathered here because of one man.
Yeah.
And known personally to many of us, known only by reputation to even more, a man loved by many, scorned by others, a man known for great controversy and for great compassion.
Yeah.
That man, of course, is Jesus of Nazareth.
Jesus of Nazareth.
I was like,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And being realistic about his dad through the whole thing, because that funeral homilies and eulogies
We're saints.
let's make this person a saint.
Yeah.
That's not the point. And the great story about the confessional was just like,
I love it. Love it.
that I'm sorry, I can understand. He wouldn't either.
Nope.
But somebody did put it up. I will, and somebody transcribed it too. It says it was, Let me, I don't know if I want to, well, you know what, I'm going to do, let's see what this does. If I actually save it to Evernote, will it, it will actually. Somebody put it up as an Evernote note.
Oh.
But, so if you want to save it to Evernote, you can just do that. But of course, I'm going to do it too. But I'm going to put it up on our Facebook page.
Good idea.
Because I think if you don't want to watch the delivery, then you can read.
Read the content.
Or you can reference this, because his referencing Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever is just stunning.
Yeah.
It is. It absolutely was.
Absolutely stunning.
And I agree with you, Joanna. It's one of the best homilies for a funeral that I have heard.
Mm-hmm.
It truly is up there.
And for me, it ranks right up there, if not nudges out, and don't tell him I said this. Our friend who does a beautiful funeral homily to the Gospel of the Wise and Foolish Virgins. Because there's and that's the one I want at my funeral. The Wise and Foolish Virgins. Okay, and you can all snicker, but you have to hear the homily in order to understand where he goes with that. And it's amazing. You sit there and you go, whoa.
I don't think I've heard that.
I think we've all heard it a few times. That's why I gave him a picture of a painting of the Wise and Foolish Virgins. Because he's the only one who preaches on that homily. Preaches on that gospel. And right now in my writings, I have that still as my gospel for my funeral. Because I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So, all right, let's move on to, so we can wrap this puppy up. Because the voice of the people this week, folks, we put this stuff up on the Facebook page, and we really, really, really want you to comment on it. And we want you to talk about these things, and suffice to say, folks, you astound me every week with what you decide to choose. Now, any of the memes we put up there, and if you don't know what a meme is, you're probably better off. I don't care if 400,000 people are reached with those memes. We're not talking about them.
Yeah.
So we're looking for, the meteor stuff to talk about. So what did we come up with this week on Voice of the People?
Yeah.
The funeral of Italy's coffee pot king. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, really.
This is what I say about it. Okay? But here's the big thing. You have to see the visual. So if you go to our Facebook page, what you will see on this article is the cremains of the coffee pot king being incensed by a lovely Italian Catholic priest stuck in the coffee pot he is famous for.
Yes.
Urn. Okay, talk about of the Chaldeans. This is urn.
Urn of the Chaldeans.
This is urn of the coffee makers, okay? And, there's a show title, isn't there?
It's a little jarring.
There's a show title. This man created this great. Well, he didn't create it. The story is that his father bought the rights to it, I guess.
Okay.
And it's his father's company that he inherited, and he promoted it, to be the best coffee maker in the world. Now it's that silver pot thing, the one with the many octagon. It's
Yes.
like an octagon
It's an
shape.
espresso maker.
Right, basically. If you're European, you know it better than you do if you're an American.
We have one.
You do.
Not that big. They made it.
No.
You got one in Italy, didn't you, when you went?
Yes.
When you spent the fall there, yeah.
Well,
Right.
we spent the semester there, but then Pat fell in love with espresso, so we bought a little espresso pot. But ours is only
Right.
this big.
Right. Well, this one is definitely urn size.
Yes.
And and the thing is that he wanted to be buried in this
Yay.
coffee pot, so they said sure. And this is where I say, and no wonder some people look at us and say, the Catholic Church's rituals should go back to the way they used to be because they'd never allow anything like this.
Well,
And unfortunately, sometimes I have to agree with them only for the prospect of they wouldn't allow anything like this.
it's true.
Okay?
And I come at it and I say, it's not a holy object, so there's not necessarily any guidelines of what you select.
There is guideline in the respect of cremains, and
Yeah.
whatever you put cremains in is supposed to be a worthy receptacle.
Okay, but in this person's mind, there's beauty,
Mhm.
which is a criteria as a
Okay.
person who had to get a container, if you will,
Right.
for her mom and her dad. The criteria as beauty, how all of those things that go into it. There's nothing in this coffee pot aside from a little humor for some of us
Mhm.
that I think really rocks the boat. And I'll
Well-
probably get creamed for that.
Oh, that's a bad one.
Yeah, I didn't mean it. I didn't truly think that one through, but
Okay, gang, what if I wanted to be buried in a larger version of an iPhone?
Well, there you go.
That's
Pull you right in.
this is what I mean. Where do we stop with this stuff?
and that's a valid thing. I looked at the picture and I saw the coffee pot because
I saw
that's
the
what was
coffee
told
pot.
about. But as you say, the octagon, and I'm looking at all of the reflection, the beautiful reflection off the octagons and such, and it was if you took what it is out of the way, it was a beautiful piece of thing. It was a thing of beauty. Let me put it that way. Mine doesn't work on that now.
Past it. I can't get past it.
I know.
She can't get past it. It's a coffee pot.
No, I can't. And it brings up the cause of what what do Catholics do with cremains?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a You know the name of it. I usually know the name of it, but today my mind is not working. Ossuary?
Ossuary, yeah.
Ossuary, yeah.
Mhm.
4 cremains. And we have people desiring to have their container be outside of the ossuary more than to use it.
Wow. That's rough.
Hmm.
That's rough because that's a really nice house for
it is.
remains.
The last one that we had, I have to say, I kind of agreed with the family because they had a friend build
Mm.
a
Oh, well.
container of beautiful
Mm.
wood, and that was the only purpose that wood ever had, was to contain their loved one.
Exactly.
It was beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay.
Hmm.
But when you're coming in with, what's going to be next? Grandma's favorite jewelry box,
Yeah.
After the fact.
or great grandma's tea caddy.
Yeah.
And so I see your point, but I also see their point, I guess, is what my bottom line is.
I know.
And actually, I'm sitting on the fence between both of you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Linda, that's usually not a place where you sit.
No,
No.
you're usually with Joanne. I'm all by myself.
Whoa! Wait a minute. That's not always true.
No, I'm
No,
sitting.
not
I'm
true.
sitting on a fence between both of you because I can kind of see both sides. I have no experience with picking out cremains. Both my parents were buried.
hmm
All my ancestors were buried.
I'm the same boat.
Coffins. But you have a choice of coffin even
Right.
when you expire. And I mean, who says that what you put your cremains in has to look like a vase?
I'm going to
I
get
don't
you to
know.
fight all of my battles.
Okay, I'm gonna get buried in my piano then because
Yeah, no, it's kind of silly. It's like the guy that wants to get married in his Chevy,
there have been people
Yeah.
buried in cars.
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
I
I
think.
want to personally be buried in my guitar case. So there you go.
Ew.
Hey, I never thought of that. Okay.
No, 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 no.
Next
Bring
time
it
my
back.
mouth doesn't work,
Well-
Linda, you're going to do my express my opinion for me.
See, this is what I mean. This is the kind of stuff that gets, it's great for conversation piece,
Yeah.
but when you're looking at what is we just saw on television, I feel the best dignitary funeral yet to date
Yeah.
that was done with the proper focus.
And I can't argue with that, yes.
Right. The focus, I hate to say, with Mr. Coffee Pot King is the coffee pot,
Yeah.
not Jesus Christ.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, so
Well,
I think
that's the
after
whole
the initial, oh my gosh, maybe not.
Yeah. But it's the whole balance with funerals. Not just the receptacle.
right,
That's the whole balance with
right.
funerals.
It is.
Is it going to be a paean of praise for the deceased,
Mm-hmm.
or is it going to be a legitimate liturgy of, coming into the presence of Jesus Christ and praying for the deceased?
And I do have to take a cue here. If my boss put on that page, not on my watch, and this is a man who is, really pastorally attuned to a lot of
Yeah.
thinking outside of the box, and he looks at it and says, "Not on my watch."
But on the other side,
I'm
this
happy-
took
I'm
place
going
in
with
Europe. This took place in
did.
Europe, which sometimes has a different mindset.
True,
That's true.
true. It's
But on the other hand, Nancy, to support what Joanne is saying, I'm here being, the angels.
you're
and the devil.
Switzerland. She's being
I'm
Switzerland.
being Switzerland, yes. The symbols that you put on the coffin, if those are not regulated, they get out of hand really
But they
fast.
do. They do. So
I
it's
mean, like there
Absolutely.
was somebody who wanted his golf club. Now,
a they.
yeah,
Okay.
and there it's at.
So,
you know?
okay. Now, I have seen, and I want to throw this out, and that's the
Not a
last thing I'll
Christian
say about
symbol.
it because it's the last thought
know.
that I have. We have the pall that we put over the casket,
Mhm.
and that will hide most of the things that you're just talking about now.
Mm,
I have also been to funerals, not been participating in, but been to funerals where they have put a similar symboled pall over the cremains.
Ah,
Okay.
Right or wrong? That I don't
Doesn't matter
know.
what
Tell
they're-
me.
I don't know if it's right or wrong. I think it's something that has not been either developed yet, or it would seem like you could do the same thing.
Yeah.
Paul is the symbol of our
Because
baptismal
the
garment.
symbolism is the same in my mind.
Right. Right. I just don't. That I can't answer. In fact, that does not offend me.
No.
Because it gives me more hope that yes, if it's a crazy box, you can cover it.
Cover
Okay.
it, yeah.
And that's kind of, yeah. All right.
But I think what Linda's also saying is that we have the choice, and it's a minor option, to put a Christian symbol on top of the pall.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's a cross.
It's a cross.
You can't put a
I
golf
misunderstood
club.
what she said. I apologize. I thought she
Yeah.
meant on. Okay.
No, can't put a golf club. Can't put your knitting
No,
needles.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it has to be can't.
Christian
Hey.
symbol.
Hey, can't put a phone with a Bible on it.
No.
You know, I wouldn't suggest it. So
It has to be like your mother's prayer book, or,
right.
I went through my mother's prayer book. It was full of holy cards from every person that had died, from every wake she ever went to.
Yeah.
That would have been something nice to put on the casket.
Right. Exactly.
It meant a lot to her.
Well, at least they gave us something to talk about with funerals.
Well, yes, they did.
The coffee pot, not so sure. Anyway, we're going to have to close it down for this week. Hopefully you'll give us more things to talk about next week by sending us some feedback to mondaymorningcatholic@gmail.com, or putting it in the comment box at mondaymorningcatholic.net, or putting it up on the Facebook page. We love it when you all answer the stuff that we put up there at facebook.com/Monday Morning Catholic, or of course the voice feedback line. Give it up for Lent. 774-955-0659. Give up your fear and call us. You can put your voice out. And I think our prayer for this week, other than for folks who are probably got the flu, which I'll always pray, there's a lot of them out there now, is two things. One, I have been totally remiss on, and he's been going through this for maybe 5 or 6 weeks now. Friend of the podcast, Father Austin Fleming,
Oh, yes.
had surgery
Yes.
after Christmas, before Lent, and he is great. He's doing well. It was one of those bypass surgeries for his weight.
Yeah.
He has been losing weight, and he says he's learning a new lifestyle, and we want to continue prayers for him, because it's got to be awfully hard, especially at an advanced age. I'm not going to tell you how old Father Fleming is. He can tell you.
It is hard.
To decide to take on this type of a walk. So we're hoping that each day gets a little bit easier for him and better, and that he'll be feeling much better soon, so that he can continue the work of Jesus in his part of the vineyard.
Exactly.
And I think this week our attention for prayer should be on pregnant moms. I've heard so much lately on moms and who, and this SARS thing, whatever it is, and just talk about the devil trying to get at the weakest.
Really.
This could be part of that, and I think the moms especially need our prayers, because in so many instances they're told, well, this one isn't working out, so why don't you just...
Yeah.
And they really need the strength and the guidance and the prayer that every life means something, no matter how long or how short in existence. So for those pregnant moms that we know, and for all you pregnant moms out there, we are going to hold you in prayer this week.
Especially.
So on this week of the second week of Lent, keep those sacrifices going, folks. And don't forget your rice bowl if you're doing that type of thing, because rice bowl is always a good one for Lent. And we'll see you back here next week, God willing, and nobody else gets sick. So for Nancy Smith, Linda Reed, and myself, Joanne Mercier, thank you for being with us again. And we will see you hopefully next week. Ciao for now.